Aggressive off-road driving and a Dana 35 axle don't mix. So we'll show you how to swap out that old axle with a Ford 8.8 and do it all on a budget. Today on TruckU.
Today we're working on this 2000 Jeep TJ. It belongs to a buddy of ours, and it's become a little off-road toy for him. You know, he put some miles on it, got another vehicle, and now he plays with this one. And that's cool with us. Here's the only problem. He's added some accessories, right? And he's going out having some fun, and he's starting to break rear axles. So that's what we wanted to do, was come in here and give him an axle swap and really do it on a budget so he can take it to the next level without spending too much money.
Yeah, the problem with the Dana 35 axle, which comes stock in this Jeep, is the fact that it can't really handle the load when you're doing heavy off-roading. You're doing upgrades when it comes to putting big tires on and putting lockers in. It puts a lot of stress on that axle, and that's when they tend to fail. Now, in stock form, if you're doing a lot of highway driving and some light off-roading, completely fine. But he's gotten to the point where he's starting to break them and came to us and said, you guys, you know what, I need an upgrade. Hook me up. Now,
we told him you've got a couple different options, right? First of all, you can go out and spend, I don't know, $2,500 or more. I mean, the sky's the limit, whatever you want to get, and put a nice rear end in there. It'll hold up to all the abuse and punishment you want to give it. But if you're like the rest of us, you want to do something like this and save as much money as possible. So that's where we come in, and we like to make a little trip to the junkyard.
Yeah, so that's exactly what we did. We went down to the local junkyard and picked up something, a whole rear end assembly out of a 1999 Ford Explorer. Now, anything from a 95 up to 2001 will do the job. What you're going to do is get an upgrade from the Dana 35 to a Ford 8.8, which is significantly stronger. You're also going to get an upgrade in terms of brakes as well, because this system comes with a disc brake assembly where your Jeep comes with drum brakes, and that's really the best of both worlds.
Sure. Now keep in mind, this did not look like this when we yanked it out of the back of that Explorer.
No, it took us a little while to get to this point.
First, we want to start tearing this axle down by getting the brakes out of the way. Now we can strip off all of the brackets on the stock 8.8. So we get our 4-inch grinder and we start to cut the side of each bracket. And we want to be careful not to cut into the tube here, because if that happens, then we have to go back and weld all the cuts later to clean up the tube. Now we take a hammer and knock the rest of the bracket off, and you can see there's only a little bit left over. Now some guys use a torch because they think it's quicker, but we'll just end up with a lot more grinding and more time in the end. You want to use a good quality cutoff wheel and grinding discs like these from Industrial Depot. The cheap ones wear down quicker, and in the long run they're going to cost you more time and money.
We want to show you guys why we decided to go with the 8.8 over the 35, and first and foremost, it comes down to the axle shafts. In the 35, you got the smaller 27 spline shaft. Now we've gone to an upgraded larger 31 spline, which is going to be able to handle a lot larger load. Also, it's got a bigger ring and pinion. This one obviously an 8.8 inch, where the gear in that one is a 7.5.
Now, it's not all peaches and cream. It's not like everything's perfect, right? Because when we pulled this out of the back of the Explorer, one of the things you're going to notice is the tubes are just pressed here into the housing. They're not really secured with anything except these little plugs. So under extreme wear and tear and heavy conditions, you know, if this isn't all welded up like it is now, this is all held down by the brackets and everything, right? This can actually rotate up on you and bind up your U-joints, break a drive shaft. You could have all sorts of problems. So we came in here and we put some welds all the way around just like that. And what that does is it takes this whole unit and makes it a lot stronger.
Now, when it comes time to weld this, what we did is try to keep the heat evenly distributed so it doesn't twist or distort. So we put about a 1 to 1.5 inch bead, then quickly went around to the backside and did the same all the way around. This way the heat's nice and uniform across, and we also tried to work quickly to keep the heat down. Now, when it comes to cooling it, just wrap it in a welding blanket. The last thing you want to do is throw water on it, because this housing will start to crack, and that's not what you want to have happen.
No, that's an even bigger problem.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're all caught up, and we're getting to the point now where we can start figuring out where we're going to put all the bracketry on this axle. But before we do that, we need to go over to the stock axle and find our center line. There are a number of ways of going about a job like this. You know, this is one of those things that you could ask 3 or 4 different guys, how would you go about doing it? And you're liable to get 3 or 4 different answers, you know. But the bottom line is this: you want to make sure that you measure everything as accurately and as precisely as possible.
Yeah, what we've done is try to square this up as much as possible, give ourselves a little bit of a jig to work off of, and it's important to make it square. So this is going to give us our center line, and everything is going to be based off the center line where things are going to mount in relation to it. So first of all, our overall width is 55 inches. So obviously the center line is at 27.5. From there, we're going to make measurements for each bracket based off of that center line so it'll match when we go on the new housing.
Yeah, as you work from the center line out, everything's going to fall right into place. Now, it's pretty simple, and you take that center line approach to all the bracketry as well. So, like, this is a good example, this perch right here. What we wanted to do was find the center of this, which we already have, and then you can come right over here and line that up, and you say, all right, I'm lined up in the center, and we can make a mark right here, and we know exactly where this goes, and that'll fall in right in the right place over there. Now, another thing you want to keep in mind, and you can check this periodically, is make sure this height from here to the axle is the same at this end as it is down there on that end. Because if you get all jacked up on one end or the other, it's going to screw up all your measurements, and that's not good.
Right. As important as it is to keep everything square, you also have to keep things in relative proportion to the pinion angle. So what we did is go ahead and set this one up at 90 degrees, and we'll do the same thing with the new setup. From there, everything else is relative off of it. Give you an example. Our spring perch right here is at about, let's say, 12 degrees. We got to make sure that it sets at the same spot on the new assembly. Otherwise, everything else will be out of kilter. So that's another thing you have to keep in mind as well.
Okay, we need to go to break right now, but we need to make some more marks. In the meantime, when we come back, we're going to see where these new brackets are going on the new axle.
Hey, welcome back to TruckU. As you can see, we're hard at work on our new rear end assembly, and like the old one, we want to make sure that everything is square and everything is lined up correctly. So what we did was we transferred our fixture over and started with getting the proper center line, because everything's going to be mounted off that center line. This way everything will fit up underneath the Jeep. Now when we talk about bracketry and all the stuff we have to mount, we saved ourselves a lot of time and got some new stuff from the guys at Mad 4-Wheel Drive. It saved us a lot of time from cutting the old stuff off, and even more time than trying to make it all from scratch. So we're off to a good start right there. Now in terms of mounting this stuff, we had to keep in mind too is the pinion angles, because everything is relative to it. So we set it at 90 degrees, and then if you remember, our spring perch was at 12 degrees. So we've got it measured up right here. I've gone ahead and tacked it, and it's still in place, which is a good thing. We're going to do the same thing as we lay everything out here on our rear end assembly. Now the one thing we're not going to do is go ahead and mount our shocks, and the reason why is because, well, if you take a look right here, our shock mount, you need to go ahead and try and make sure, first of all, it doesn't bind and hit our spring parts. The other thing too is you might be able to pick up some shock travel by rolling it up into place, which can be an advantage. Now, what we're going to do is go ahead and we'll tack weld everything in place, make sure it's all set, put it up under the Jeep, it all fits, then we'll bring weight down on it and get the right ride height. At that point, we can find if we can go ahead and cheat a little bit and roll this up. As long as it doesn't hit our spring perch, we might be able to pick up some shock travel.
Now, I don't know if you guys have a tool in your garage called a video montage, but I love using ours. You can get so much work done in such a short amount of time. Now, Bruno did a great job tacking on those brackets. We put the whole system up under here and made sure everything lined up with our suspension and made sure all the geometry was still good. Everything was fine. So then we were able to pull it back out and then weld these brackets on good and strong. That way we could put it back under again. Now we can put the weight on everything. That's what we wanted to do. We mentioned it earlier. We wanted to have all the weight on this before we mounted our shock mounts back here. So that's the next step in line. Now this shock's going to be fine. He actually added this on not too long ago when he put in this little bit of lift. Anytime you're doing any kind of lift, you want to make sure your shock's going to be long enough. Our lift isn't changing, so we can go with these. But the thing you want to watch out for is that the shock doesn't bottom out before the spring does, or that it doesn't get hung up when the axle falls all the way down this way. So the spring's got about 6 or 6.5 inches before it's going to bottom out, and the shock on this side's got to have about 5 inches of travel right there, and that's going to be fine. These two will bottom out right about the same time. The other thing you want to look out for is right down here. Like I said, when this axle drops out, you want to make sure you got enough travel down on this end, which we do. Everything's going to be fine. Now, when we put the other side into place, and measured everything out as far as our travel going up and down on the shock. We found that this bracket was mounted at about 30 degrees. So we're just going to take that and use that same measurement over here on this side. So we'll take a look at that and get that up to about 30. And that's going to be right where we want that bracket. And we're going to put that right there on the tube. Now, some guys will say, look, you're going to have this dragging down there and that's going to get hung up on stuff. It's really not going to be much of a factor, because if you think about it, the inside of the tire is going to be about right here. So it's only a couple inches away from this bracket. So anything that you're driving over, the tire is going to clear it, and that's going to carry that right over. So you shouldn't have too many clearance issues. Today we're out here at our buddy's engine shop taking a look at some of the common problems that you could have inside your engine and some easy ways to prevent those and keep you out of a shop like this. No offense to our buddy.
No, right? No offense. You know, the first thing I want to talk about is a dirty combustion chamber. And what happens is, over the course of time, you get carbon buildup, keeps your engine from running efficiently. Now, specifically in the combustion chamber, you'll get blow-by, where that power goes past the rings and gets shot out into the crankcase. What that means is you're going to lose power and you're going to lose overall engine efficiency. A great way to cure that problem, bring the engine back to life, is to clean out the carbon buildup in these ring lands here. That'll allow the rings to seal upon startup, allow your engine to run much more efficiently, because you're sealing off that combustion chamber, keeping the blow-by out of the crankcase.
Now, the easy way to do that is to pour Z-Max right into your engine. Z-Max is a micro lubricant, which means the molecules are smaller. So the Z-Max can go places where the oil can't. So you're getting a lot more lubrication. You kind of think of it as lubricating from the inside out. And what that's going to do is help keep those seals sealed, right? Yep. It's going to keep those parts cooler. It's going to keep everything running more efficiently. That's the whole concept. That's the whole idea of what Z-Max is all about.
Yeah, you pour the Z-Max in, let your engine run about 500 miles, get all that carbon buildup out of your engine, allow it to seal properly, and you can go ahead and put in your fuel system and clean the top of the pistons and hit those valves as well.
And Z-Max is one easy way to keep you out of the engine shop.
Hey, welcome back. We're almost done with our axle assembly. Now, we've taken a lot of time getting all the fabrication done, and that eats up a lot of time, but it's important to make sure that you have the right measurements. This way it fits up in the right place and have all the right angles. So what we did is we tack welded everything in place. We final fit everything fit where it was supposed to. Then we did the final welds. So now it's time to start addressing some of the braking stuff. Now, we talked about earlier was the fact that we're going to use a new disc brake setup like this originally was configured for in that Ford. Now, we're going to use some of those same components again. We've got the same hubs. We're going to use the same backing plates, obviously the axles, as well as our emergency brake. But from that point forward, we're going to put all new stuff in from the guys at Federated Auto Parts. Real quickly, before you go ahead and put this axle in, you want to make note of this seal right here and be really careful that you don't roll the edge. If you do, you're going to have a bad leak, so be careful when you're putting the axles back in.
Okay, it's like you said, we got all of our new Raybestos brake parts from Federated Auto Parts. And what's good about that is, you know, we got the rotor and the caliper and the pads. And Federated sells OEM parts or better. So everything you're going to get is brand name quality. You don't have to worry about getting an inferior part. Now let's say you go there and you get the parts that you need, and now you start thinking, you know what, I'm in a little bit over my head, I bit off a little bit more than I can chew, and I don't know if I can get this job done or not. Well, the other good thing about Federated is the guys are all factory certified and trained. They can actually do the job for you. So whether you're getting quality parts or getting quality work done, Federated's got you covered. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, you know, when you're putting these axles in, there's a little C-clip, you'll fish it in the back side, and these will slide back out and lock it in place. Make sure that you take the time to get it in the right spot so this axle stays in the right location. You know, Matt talking about brake components. Now, we got all new stuff from Raybestos. It's their advanced brake technology setup. Now, and the whole deal about from Raybestos braking is you're going to get the things you want in brakes. You're going to be quiet. They're going to work well. They're going to give you good performance, and they're going to last a long time. And really, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, you know, we could go on for 20 minutes talking about the metals that make up the rotor and this, that, the other. But brakes are extremely important, but it's something that a lot of people don't think about. So most people, when they think about brakes, it's like, hey, I don't care what it's made of. I want it to be of good quality. I want it to last, and I want it to stop when I want it to stop, right? That's what people are thinking.
Now, when you're putting on a new set of rotors, you have to keep in mind that these rotors probably been sitting on a shelf a while, and they have the possibility of getting damaged in shipping. So what they do is they put a lubricant or an oil around this machine's surface to keep it from rusting out or keep it from getting banged up. Well, you've got to clean that off before you put it on, because if you don't, the first time you do, you wipe out the brake pads. So a little bit of brake clean usually does a pretty good job of cleaning up the surface, but it doesn't always get all of the gunk off.
Yeah, I did the brake clean on this one, and you can kind of take a look. It's pretty clean, but we can do a little bit better too. So we take a bucket of warm soapy water, throw this in there, and just kind of scrub it off. That way we're sure and we're positive that we've got everything off. We just put in a little grease cutting dish soap. Say that 10 times.
That's not
right?
easy.
Hey, this baby's going to be clean though, and it'll be ready to install here in just a second.
Hey, I got another one for you.
Thanks.
Sound control mat is scientifically designed to absorb and dissipate vibration created from the engine, road, and structure of your car or truck. Cover as little as 25% of the area for a noticeable reduction in noise. Just peel and stick, easy to cut and bend to conform with no prep work. For maximum noise reduction, use the multi-purpose installation. The 4x6 foot sheet has 3/8-inch sound deadening fiber padding and a highly reflective aluminum bonded on one side for 97% reflective of radiant heat. The multi-purpose installation also has numerous household uses to save you on gas and your electric bills. This tip is brought to you by LMC Truck. Restore, maintain, and customize your truck with parts and accessories from LMC Truck.
Welcome back to TruckU. You know, anytime you're doing an interior restoration, one of the biggest pieces you're going to deal with is the door panel, and that's where LMC Truck comes in. They've got these direct door panel replacements. Like this particular one is good for a full-size GMC or Chevy from 81 to 87.
Now, these molded heat-resistant door panels are made with an ultraviolet inhibitor that'll block the sun from fading and cracking. You can get in a variety of different colors to match the interior of your truck, and you can get these armrests from LMC Truck as well.
LMC Truck has these nice catalogs. You can go on the website, you can call the 1-800 number, whatever way you want to get it, they'll ship it right to you, and they will make any restoration project that you're doing that much easier. One of the comments that we get from time to time from you guys is, hey, Bruno and Matt, we could do all that work in 20 minutes too if we had a lift. Okay, good point. That's where this comes in, because this is for you guys. It's the MaxJack's portable two-post vehicle lift from Danmar Equipment.
Now, these are the only portable two-post lifts that are both portable and storable, yet they give you the ability to bolt them into the ground for those heavy-duty applications. Now, these are great because they can hold up to 6,000 pounds and will work in any garage with an 8-foot ceiling.
It's all about making the job easier, right? So now with this lift, whether you're doing a repair or a restoration project, you're going to have so much more access to the vehicle. You can get under it, to the side, around it, sit in a chair and work on it for a little while. That's the name of the game, making those projects easier. That's what it's all about with the MaxJacks from Danmar Equipment. Our buddies over at AutoGeek.net are in the business of helping you keep your vehicle looking its very best. One of the ways you can accomplish that is by using the right tools for the job, and that's where this comes in. It's the Porter Cable Variable Speed Random Orbit Polisher. And whether you're a seasoned professional or you're detailing for the very first time, this is the way to go.
Yeah, it's a great way to go if you're looking to polish your paint or remove swirls or even apply waxes or sealants. It's easy to use because it's lightweight and compact, and I'm telling you something, it's a whole lot faster than doing it by hand. Plus, you're going to get that professional quality result in your own garage.
It's the Random Orbit Polisher from Porter Cable, and you can get it at AutoGeek.net. Now, keep in mind, they've got thousands and thousands of car care products. They've got everything you need to keep your car looking great, right?
Yeah, and I hear they got a pretty cool race car as well.
That's the rumor, so check out the website and pick up one of these Porter Cables.
For more information about anything you've seen on today's show, check out speed.com or visit our website at TruckUTV.com. This segment of TruckU is brought to you by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard.
Hey, welcome back. Our new fabbed up rear axle assembly is just about done. The last piece of the puzzle for us is to go ahead and configure our brake lines. Now, what we've got to do is make one last bracket for our flexible line, which will go somewhere about here. The biggest obstacle we have to concern ourselves with is this shock mount, but once we figure out exactly where this is going to go, we'll make our tab, go ahead and take off the braking assembly, clean everything up, shoot it with some paint, put it back on, and then we can run those hard lines across the housing to the other side. We also went the extra mile and got ourselves some of this protective sleeve, just like they run in the OE stuff. What's great about it is it's going to help protect that hard line from out on the trail so it doesn't get dinged or smashed or split. It's really nice stuff. It's really flexible, too easy to work with.
Yeah, potentially this vehicle could be taking a little bit more punishment, and we want to be able to protect it, and that's what that's for, and that is also what this new diff cover from Solid Axle is for. So here's the stock diff cover, right? This thing, a lot of people refer to it as tin foil, I think is what they call it. There's not much to it. I mean, look how much thicker and heavier this thing is. This is going to take the punishment. So if you would do the honors there.
For sure.
Okay, so here's what potentially can go wrong. Maybe if you just kind of, the axle falls off of something or you back into something not being careful, and it takes a pretty good whack, kind of like this. Let's see. Big dent, right? Now the dent's going to be a lot worse because the Jeep's a lot heavier. You back into something, you could really torture this thing. You could put a hole in it. It could cause a leak. If you really smashed it in, you could smash it into the gears and then the whole thing's not running around. Big problems, none of which you've got to worry about with this new diff cover from Solid Axle. I've got to tell you, man, now that everything is done and it's back on the ground and the axle is swapped out and painted and it all looks brand new, I am thrilled with the way this came out, man. I love it.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. That axle swap wasn't for the weak at heart, you know, but it looks good now. It's going to perform well, give him a Jeep that's much more durable out on the trails, and we're able to save him a bunch of money in the process.
Oh, sure. We did the whole axle swap for under $500. We spent a little bit of money on the brakes, but that's good because now we have peace of mind, and we got the new rims and tires too, which look great.
Now, the other advantage about the axle system that we chose is it has the same bolt pattern as stock. So if we wanted to, we could have kept the same stock wheel and tire on, but we decided to go down a different path.
In the words of Bruno, why do that? We saved so much money on the rear axle swap that we had to go shopping. Bruno loves to shop.
That I do.
Hey, this is a good combination right here, man. You take a look at this. We've got the Blackrock wheel. It's a single-piece alloy construction. Looks fantastic with the matte black finish, and you get the black wheels, the black tires, black Jeep, black fender flares, windows. The whole thing is blacked out, man. I love this look.
Now, these tires not only look good, but they perform as well. It's the Goodyear Wrangler Dura tire. Now, they've got what you call tractive groove technology, which means there's nice deep ruts in here, which means that this is going to be able to perform in the snow and in the rain, in the mud, all that stuff, as well as it's got pinned notches inside here, so you can put spikes in this thing. So if you want this tire to bite in the ice, this is exactly what you need.
Good tire, good look, everything all the way around. Now, we've got to get this back to him, right? That's going to wrap it up for us today. But I think, realistically, I should probably be the one that takes it back to him, and maybe a little test drive on the way back.
He was very specific and said Matt is not allowed to drive.
I don't think it was that specific.
He was
being honest.
Totally specific.